Hey everybody, and welcome to episode 115 of How I Built It. Today my guest is Jan Thielemann. I met Jan through the Freemius Slack channel. You might remember the episode where I interviewed Vova Feldman. He invited me into the Freemius Slack channel, and I got to meet a lot of really cool people there, and Jan is one of them. He was a bit of a digital nomad for a while, and he started making money writing pro Divi modules, which he uses Freemius to sell. So if you are thinking about getting into plugin development or premium plugin sales, this has been an insanely helpful episode for me. It's always something I think about doing, and then I can never make the jump, and do I do too much or whatever, but Jan offers a lot of really, really great advice. So we'll get to that interview in a minute, but first, a word from our sponsors. This episode is sponsored by our friends at Castos. Castos is a podcast hosting platform built specifically for WordPress. Their seriously simple podcasting plugin lets you manage all of your episodes and podcast RSS right from your WordPress site, but have your files hosted on a dedicated media hosting platform. If you use WordPress, this is by far the easiest platform that I have used for podcasting. I also really love how the Castos team takes a common sense approach to their pricing. You can create as many episodes and podcasts as you want, and you don't have to worry about how much storage you're using or bandwidth restrictions. And if you're like me and you already have a ton of episodes from an old host, they've got you covered. Castos will import all of your podcast content into their platform completely free of charge. It's literally one click of a button in your WordPress dashboard. I could not believe my eyes when I saw this in action. And it's stuff like this, which is why I built my own podcasting course on top of Castos. And they have put together a really special opportunity for the show today. You can get 50% off your first 3 months with the code BUILTIT19. That's BUILTIT19. Just head over to castos.com/howibuiltit to learn more. That's castos.com/howibuiltit. Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of How I Built It, the podcast that asks, how did you build that? Today, my guest is Jan Thielemann. Jan, how are you today?
Good. Thanks for having me on the show.
Thanks for being on the show. We were connected through the Freemius Slack team. And so we're going to be discussing an interesting topic today, right? As you'll learn very soon, Jan is a Java programmer by day and then sells products on the side. So I'm very excited to talk to you about this. Why don't we start off with, why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are and maybe more specifics about what you do?
Yeah, so my name is Jan. I'm from Germany. And for the past 3 years, my wife and I, we traveled around the world. 3 years, that is a long time. And originally we planned to only travel Australia for 1 year, but our car broke down, which we bought there. And then we decided to visit as many countries as we could with the money we saved. The money we saved, it lasted for about 1 year. But we didn't want to stop traveling. So we had to come up with ideas to earn money while we travel. And this brought me to the Divi WordPress premium theme. Some of you might know from Elegant Themes. And since I'm a programmer, I started developing modules for my own blog. We had a travel blog. And I posted one of these modules in a Facebook group. And then some German guy told me, you can't give away this great module. You have to sell it. And yeah, this brought me to selling my modules, which made quite a good amount of money on the side for compared for the amount of work I put into it. And especially if you travel Asia and South America, you don't have to do a lot of work to afford a very good life down there. And yeah, then my wife got pregnant and now we're back in Germany. I'm back to developing Java during the day for a bigger company here in Germany. But I never gave up on developing my modules. And yeah, that's what I still do on the side. because when I come home, developing is my passion. Other people, they sit in front of the television and watch stupid shows. And I rather do some developing because it's just so much fun, and having the money on the side is also nice. So I can afford a good life for my newborn.
That's fantastic. We were talking before the show at the time of this recording. Jan has a 7-week-old.
Yes.
So I remember those days pretty well. Sleep deprivation makes it hard to completely remember them. But that's really cool. That's such a cool story. You traveled around the world for 3 years. After 1 year, you were like, "Hey, let's keep the party going." So you decided to sell modules for Divi. Had you used Divi before, or did you stumble upon this in your quest to make money remotely?
Yeah, it's a little bit of a funny story. So when we created our blog for the first time, I had no idea what themes to use. And we also had a YouTube channel. And one of our viewers, she had a marketing agency here in Germany. And she owns unlimited license of Divi. So she said, "Hey, I have this super cool theme. Do you want to use it for your blog?" And she basically gave it to me for free. So that's how I came to Divi. And then at some point I needed a certain module, which did not exist. And so I'm a programmer. I thought, hey, you can make this. So I wrote it myself. I looked at the source code, digged through it, learned how everything worked together, and then just came up with a plugin. And then I wanted to share this plugin with the world. And that's how I came to this. And
that's super cool.
Yeah, after the time, I created a second plugin, and then the third plugin, it really, I don't know how to say that. In Germany, we say it hit the tooth of the time. I don't know if that makes sense, but it was it was exactly on point and what people needed. And suddenly, I had all the income I needed to do full-time traveling, and I only did a few hours of work per week instead of 8 hours per day. As before, when we lived in Germany, I only had to work maybe 1 or 2 hours a day and do some updates every now and then, and give some support. And it was a really great time. We had all this free time. We could see things and places, and it was wonderful.
Wow. So can you say that statement again? What was it? It really
it hit the tooth of the time.
Hit the tooth of the time. Yeah,
I don't even know if that makes sense in English.
Yeah. In America, we say, I think probably what you're saying is it hit the nail on the head. It was
that
cool.
would be appropriate, I guess. Yeah.
Very cool. So that was your third one. I have so many questions right now because I think this is very, very cool. So first of all, how long did it take you before you developed that third plugin that really helped your shop take off? Was it like weeks, days? Did you develop like 3 right in a row? Like, what was that like?
Yeah, it was really, really funny. So the first module I published on a marketplace site, I think 4 or 5 days before the end of the month. And in these 4 or 5 days, it made like $50. Yeah, that's not very much, but it's really nice to see, I created something for myself, by myself, without being employed by somebody else. And it really made some legit money. So the next month, I started and developed the second module and published it maybe a week or 2 after I published the first one. And during that month, it made like $250. So I saw, the income is getting bigger by a factor of like, 5. So in the third month, I released the third. It's the second month because it was only a few days before the end of the month when I released the first one. So the second month, at the very beginning of the month, I released the third module, and I think it made $1,500. So it really was only like 5 weeks or so. And ever since, I think I had not a single month since then that I earned less than $1,000 with these modules. And the beauty of it is once you released a module, it stays online. You only have to make sure that you update it if something breaks. But then your portfolio, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, which means that with less and less and less amount of time you spend working on it, you get the same income or even more, because more modules means more income. At the very beginning, my business model was a little bit different. It was the first time I ever sold something by myself online. So I only sold it via unlimited site licenses with lifetime support. But now with freemius, I switched to the yearly reoccurring payment because it after the first year, it became clear that if I want to make this a sufficient source of income, and I want to provide long-term support for these modules, I need a way to make the income. And the freemius model, where you have this yearly recurring payments, is really beautiful. I still sell lifetime licenses. They normally have like 3 times the price of a yearly license. So if you plan on using one of my modules longer than 3 years, then it would be smarter to invest in the lifetime license. But depending on which module you want to buy, that can become expensive quite fast.
Yeah, absolutely. So very cool. I like some of your insights, right? Because I've been saying this to a few people now that I've been interviewing for the show, is I have an idea for plugins that I use personally that I think probably could sell okay, but I'm worried about the support aspect of things, or I'm worried about maybe the amount of time it'll take me to get these to market and then marketable. But it sounds like just at least initially just some effort to get them to market, and then they can maybe start making money and I can refine as I see fit.
Yeah. So during my travels, I learned a lot about a thing called passive income, which you surely have heard of. And people are always talking, especially in the digital nomad groups, they are always talking about the passive income they make. And you have the active income when you sell your time, and you have the passive income when you let your money work for you. And I believe that there's a third thing, which is the semi-passive or half passive income, which is what I'm doing currently. So I can't stay away for a year and expect it to make the same amount of income every month. I still have to put some effort in it. Truly passive income is, for example, if you buy stocks and they give you a dividend each quarter or whatever. That's truly passive income because you don't touch it at all anymore. But what I do is what I really enjoy. And spending these few hours every week, maybe half an hour a day, or maybe sometimes 2 or 3 hours, depending on my mood, it makes me happy, and I can assure quality. The downside is, of course, you need some initial time to put a new product into the market, and you never know if it really will hit like you expected. So with my third module, which made this big impact in my life, I was really lucky, and I still don't really know how I did this, because it was actually a quite simple module. It was a blurb module, which let you configure different level of elevation according to the material design from Google. So when you hover over the module, it appears that it is coming closer to you by changing the box shadows around it. And I thought it was not so difficult to make, and I would have never thought that people would appreciate this kind of module so much. And it was, it was more something for myself, which I said, that is, I saw a similar thing on another page, not as a module, but they implemented it with CSS. And I saw it and I thought, wow, it would be cool if I could have a module for my pages so I could easily implement this without writing the CSS every time. So yeah, I developed it, and yeah, people liked it so much that they bought it like, I don't know, over 400 times now.
This episode is brought to you by our friends at Hover. Now, I've been using Hover for as long as I can remember, and I couldn't be happier with them. As a matter of fact, I've switched all of my domains from wherever I had them in the various places to Hover exclusively. And I know you probably have a ton of ideas for domain names. I do too. Whenever I have an idea for a domain, I go straight to Hover and purchase that domain. I even have them bookmarked on my phone on its home screen so that I can quickly and easily get the domain I just got an idea for. They make the process as easy as possible with no upsells, just pure domain purchasing. My absolute favorite feature is the free Who Is Privacy. Not only do they protect your identity, but they do so without some added costs. That means when I buy a domain from Hover, I don't get spammed the next day by people trying to sell me services or mail from scams trying to get me to pay more for my domain than I need to. With Hover, Who Is Privacy is free. Now, I could probably do an entire episode about Hover and all its great things, but for now, I will just tell you that if you want to learn more and get your domains from an honest, great domain registrar, you can head over to hover.com/buildsomething. You'll even get 10% off your first purchase just for being a listener. That's hover.com/buildsomething. And now, back to the show. When I'm looking at other products, like what you just said, something so simple, how could it make such a big impact? It has a very obvious application. People can search for module that does this, and that comes up. Oh, this is the exact thing I needed to do. So maybe that mental block is another thing that plugin developers need to get over. You know, it's not the simplicity of the thing you're making. It's the value it provides to the customer.
Yes, exactly. I think that is the point. If people really need it and it makes their life easier, then they are happy to spend a few bucks on it. It doesn't have to be a super fancy suite of different modules and everything, which takes you 3 years in the development. Sometimes it can be something really easy. I actually made a second product out of the Blurb module, which is a collection of CSS classes. You can you simply add the style sheet to your site, and then you have one class, which is a card class, and you can add it to any element on your page, and it will apply the hover effect with the elevation. And yeah, it's I offer it for a really low cost. I think it's $3 or so. But people like it so much because they can do so much with it, which they can't with Divi out of the box. So they only have to remember this very one class, put it in the field on the theme, on a module, on a row, or on a section, a column, whatever they like, and it just works. So it's really simple to use, and the effect is really cool. So they keep on buying it, and I think that's the how do you say, the hourly wage of this particular product is the best I've ever had in my life. I think because the hourly wage, it grows and grows and grows. I spend like half an hour to develop this style sheet, but it already brought me like $300, $400 or so. So that's an hourly wage of like $800. And
yeah,
please tell me where you get $800 an hour.
Yeah, that's incredible. So maybe for the we've been talking for most of this show about just kind of different aspects of the business and how you came across this. But I love the topic. I usually like to ask what kind of research you did for the product, but we got a little bit of that. I'd be really interested to know what kind of research you did for pricing, or maybe how you decided to price your plugins. Because some people are like, $99. Like if it saves somebody an hour of work, $99 it definitely is. But you also mentioned like $3, which was totally worth. It's clearly totally worth it for you. So how do you come up with pricing?
Yeah, that's a difficult question actually, and I'm still looking for ways how I can do this, because normally what I do is I sell myself underpriced. So for me, it's really hard. I'm a very helpful person, and if somebody asks me anything in my support, I will help them, no matter if it's the fault of my plugin. Like today, I had a customer, and he bought one of my plugins, and he put it on his site, and the plugin didn't work. So I checked out his site, and I saw that he put some strange jQuery script tag on his page, which is absolutely not necessary because Divi comes with jQuery built in. But he told me, no, I need this or that won't work. And I told him, well, then whatever you do there is not working properly, and it should work like this or that. And I'm happy to assist you to make it work so that it works together with my plugin. It's basically not my plugin's fault, but I'm happy to assist. And yeah, I won't charge him any money for this. And that makes it really difficult for me to put the right price tag on my stuff. So what I normally do is I think about what would I spend for such a plugin. And I normally don't spend much money for things, especially if I can do them myself. So normally I put them a little bit underpriced. Recently, I tried one thing out, which is making one of my products ridiculously expensive. But apparently it gives so much value to people that they still buy it. And I think you can just try a little bit out, and you can, if you see, okay, when I make it this price, I get around these many purchases a month. Then next month, I maybe make it a little bit more expensive. $10, $50, $100. You can, depending on how much value it adds. And then you can see if people still buy it, okay. If nobody buys it at all, make it cheaper again till you hit the sweet spot. And I wish there was a recipe for finding the price, but that's simply not possible. You can just guess and see if people are willing to pay whatever you want to charge.
Nice. I like that a lot. I especially like the part where you said that you raised, I guess would be the right term there, your price of a plugin significantly, but people still found a lot of value in it. So there's nothing wrong with price experimenting, right?
I actually read a blog article from Freemius, and it was also about product pricing. And the story goes like he goes into a meeting with a corporation, and he has this super awesome plugin. And when he came to the slide with the pricing, nobody said anything, and he never heard back from them. And the problem was that it was way too cheap. And big businesses, they expect to pay a good amount of money. So before the next meeting, he quickly added 2 zeros to the price. And the business, they just bought it. They didn't even cringe or whatever. They just said, oh, yeah, looks good. We buy it. And after I read this, I as well, I added a little bit to the pricing from, it was, before it was, I think, $39. And I raised the price to $299. And yeah, people keep buying it. And I couldn't believe it. But apparently it's so much of value for them, that they're willing to pay it. And that is that makes me think if I should maybe play around with pricing a lot more. One particular pricing tip I have is that if it is possible, always try to display a higher price and cross it out. So people think, oh, that's a limited offer. And that's one thing I now do with each of my plugins, even if they are not on a special deal or whatever. But it's the psychological effect.
This episode is brought to you by Pantheon. Starting a new project? Looking for a better hosting platform? Pantheon is an integrated set of tools to build, launch, and run websites. Get high-performance hosting for your WordPress sites, plus a comprehensive toolkit to supercharge your team and help you launch faster. On Pantheon, you get expert support from real developers, best-in-class security, and the most innovative technology to host and manage your websites. You can sign up a new site in minutes with a free account. You only pay when it goes live. That is my second favorite feature to Pantheon, only to the easy ability to create dev, staging, and live servers and push to GitHub. It's very easy to set those things up on Pantheon. So you can head over to pantheon.io today, again, to set up a free account. Pay only when it goes live. Thanks so much to Pantheon for their support of this episode and this season of How I Built It. People are always willing to get the deal, right?
Yeah.
I've kind of learned the opposite in that when I first launched my online courses, I saw, I had a bunch of coupons and things like that. And then when I got rid of them, I had people who only wanted to buy my course if there was a coupon. So I made them think that there was always a deal. And when I got rid of that deal, it backfired a little bit. I found a good happy medium there, though.
Yeah.
So that's really interesting. I would love to get to the title question now, which is how did you build it? And I want to talk specifically about your online shop, right? You use Freemius. You use Freemius. You mentioned that you might use other marketplaces as well. So maybe we could talk about some of the decision making that went in there.
Yeah, so first of all, of course, you have to know where you can sell. Do you want to sell on your own website, in your own shop? Do you want to use a provider like Freemius, which handles all the value-added tax stuff, especially here in Europe? That's a real pain. If you want to do it yourself, you have to get a lawyer, which is really expensive to write terms of service for your shop. You have to check where the customers come from, and then each European country has a different value-added tax rate. So in Germany, it's 19%, and in Spain, it's, 15, 16% or whatever. So that alone made me think, no, thank you. I never want to have my very own shop. I rather pay the 30% for a platform which takes care of everything, and I just get my payout, which I put in my income tax, and I'm good to go. I don't have to take care of anything. I don't have to deal with refunds and stuff like this. So at first, I didn't even know that freemium existed. But this German guy, he told me, there's this page called elegantmarketplace.com. And at the time, it was one of the very few, or maybe the only marketplace especially made to buy and sell Divi-related products like plugins, modules, themes, courses, stuff like that. And that's the first one I started to sell on. Then later there was I was contacted by the owner of another page called Divi Cake, which is also a site, especially for Divi products, but it's newer and smaller. The good thing is they have the customer base. When people in the Divi community look for a plugin or a theme, they first go to Elegant Marketplace because it's such a name. They had a Facebook group with some 30,000 members. And if you searched for Divi, custom Divi modules or whatever, you would normally find them in Google on the top places. And that alone is so much value over selling on your own page, because you can have the very best product and the cheapest price, but if people don't find you, you will not make a single dime. And then later, I started to think, what if Elegant Marketplace suddenly starts to raise their share? Or what if the owner runs away, saves the income for 2 months from all the developers selling there, and then just goes wild? Or what if, a fire destroys the all the backups they have and the site goes down, or if Google decides to delist them? Things can happen all the time. intentionally or not intentionally, it doesn't matter. But it's always good to put not all your eggs into one basket. So I stumbled across Freemius, which was recommended from a friend. And that is when I started to rebuild some of my early plugins into another structure, because what Freemius allows you to do is you can put your premium code in a module, and then you upload it to their page, and you put the premium code in between an if statement, and they have a compiler which strips out all the premium code, and then you get a plugin which you can upload on the WordPress plugin directory. So now I not only have the elegant marketplace with their huge user base, but I also have I can advertise my product directly on WordPress. So if you go to plugins, add new, search for Divi, you will find my plugin. You can install it, test it out, get the free modules I have added there. And then there's this wonderful add-on architecture, which allows you to purchase different add-ons. So I already converted 2 or 3 of my modules to add-ons. And yeah, that is a nice distribution of your risk. And you also get all the people who might not know about Elegant Marketplace, but who regularly search in the plugin directory for Divi modules.
Wow, that's really cool. So I really like that, right? You're piggybacking off of other audiences like Elegant Marketplace and Divi Cake that have that trust in the specific industry that you're trying to be in. But I also, I didn't know that this was a feature of Freemius. That I guess it makes sense, right? Because their name is based on like freemium model.
Yeah.
It lets you kind of easily upsell your add-ons, yes, right? Because that's another hard thing, right? Yeah. It's you have maybe a free version of the plugin, and then you need to convince them to go off somewhere and pay for the premium if they want to.
And Freemius makes it really simple. You when you write the code on your computer, you only have this one code base. You don't have to do any branching with Git. You just develop as normal. Simply put it in an if bracket. Zip your product, upload it to Freemius. There's even command line tools which can do this automatically for you. And you download the free zip, put it in your WordPress repository, and you're good to go. And then when people decide to buy it, they have 2 different options. You can have a free version of your plugin, and when they buy it, they get a premium version of the plugin. I didn't want that because I didn't want people to have to re-download, remove the plugin, download a new premium one. So I have a free one, which everybody can use. Everybody has the same features. But there's the add-on structure. And this is also built right into Freemius. They even provide you with the menu structure, so you don't have to do anything. You just upload your add-ons onto Freemius. And when I add a new plugin, I just flip a switch and it will appear in the list of the add-ons in your backend. So it's always present. People know, okay, this is the free version. I can use it. Everything is good. But there's always this little add-ons menu, which you can click, and then you see all the beautiful add-ons I created. And the third really awesome thing about Freemius, which was also one of the main reasons I started using them, is they have an affiliate program built right into the platform. So people can register themselves and become affiliate marketers for your plugin. And they can start earning money with your plugin. And if they recommend your plugin, people who get the plugin recommended are more likely to buy it if somebody they knew recommended over when they find it themselves. Then they might be a little bit skeptical. But if I say to my friends, hey, I found this super awesome plugin, it's really helpful, you should check it out, it's a lot more likely that he's going to buy this plugin.
Very cool. Yeah, so it sounds like, I mean, you know, I sell online courses and I do it through WooCommerce, and I spent a lot of time getting the right infrastructure, and I'm glad I did that for this particular case. But if and when I start selling premium plugins, I think Freemius will be the way to go, because I would want to focus all of my development time on the premium plugins and not any development time on the actual shop, right?
Yeah.
So that's very cool. Well, we're coming up on time here. What are your plans for the future? I know that you have your full-time job. You just had a baby, which I know probably affects the way that you approach certain things. I left my full-time job when my daughter was 3 months old to start my own business because I wanted to have as much time as possible with my child. But what are your plans for the future? Are you going to kind of continue doing the full-time gig and then this on the side, or do you eventually want to make this your full-time gig?
Well, the plan is to do both right now for a while until the boy is a little bit bigger and fit for traveling. And then maybe in 2 or 3 years or so, I want to have my business grown so much that I can quit my day job, and then I want to buy or build Adventure Mobile and drive around the world and see places and show my baby boy the giraffes in Africa, the zebras and the lions, and the kangaroos in Australia, and the giant guinea pigs in South America, and all the cool things my wife and I have already seen. Yeah, so that is a dream of mine. Divi is not the only business I'm doing. I'm doing a lot of other things, but talking about them would probably take a few hours.
Gotcha. Well, it goes back to what you said about having a nice distribution of your work, right? Not putting all of your eggs into one basket. That's really cool. I love that. My wife is a nurse, but I work from home, and so we do have a little bit of flexibility, and we want to do the same thing for our daughter. We want to travel as much as possible with her, and give her the same travel bug that we have. Yeah. So that's really cool. I'm gonna end with my favorite question to ask, which is, do you have any trade secrets for us?
I'm not sure if I understand this phrase "trade secrets" correctly, but the secret I would like to share is that you should go out there and just try things out. Don't be afraid to fail. Just try it out and see what works for you and which makes you happy. I hope that makes answering the question.
That's perfect. That's great advice. I feel like you were just talking directly to me, but I know that this is stuff that is applicable to everybody listening.
I wanted to talk to the listener.
Yes.
With you, I mean you, my very dear listener.
Yes, absolutely. Definitely advice that I need to take advantage of too, especially in the premium plugin space. So Jan, thanks so much for joining me today. Where can people find you?
They can find me or my Divi-related modules on my website, divi-sensei.com. I'm also on Facebook. Just search for Divi Sensei. And yeah, I'm hanging around in the Freemius Slack channel, so we can have a chat there. And I also have a website, Thielemann.de, but it's in German, so the audience probably can't make much sense of it.
They'll have to take advantage of Google Chrome's auto translate feature. I will be sure to link all of those in the show notes. Jan, thanks so much for joining me again. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks again to Jan for joining me today. He offered a lot of really great advice. I love his story. I liked what he said about kind of premium plugins being like half passive income, because investments are truly passive. Selling digital goods are about half passive, because yes, you do make money when you're not there, but you have that support aspect, right? And some of the things he said, like him being happy to assist people, even if it's not the plugin's fault, because he knows overall it will leave people with a good impression of him. So just lots of great advice. You should definitely check out Jan and his work. If you want to find all of those links that we talked about, you can do so over at howibuilt.it/115. My question of the week for you is, are you thinking about selling a premium plugin? And if so, what is it? What's stopping you? I can wax poetic about that for a long time, but let me know. Email me, joe@howibuilt.it, or on Twitter @jcasabona. Thanks so much to our sponsors, Plesk, Pantheon, and Hover. Be sure to check them out and thank them for their support, because the show would not happen without them. If you liked this episode, be sure to leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts. It really helps people discover us. And until next time, get out there and build something.